The war for Earth had already begun, and everyone knew the ending might be close. The sky above the planet was no longer dark. It burned with flashes of light, alien weapons exploding in the cold void of space. Alien fleets had surrounded Earth, like hungry wolves, their ships cutting off every path. They believed Earth would fall in days, maybe even hours. Inside the human defense stations, alarms screamed. Pilots sat ready inside their cockpits. Engineers ran across metal floors, and commanders shouted orders. Humanity was holding on, but only just. Every hour they lost more ships. Every day more. Soldiers died. The enemy was strong, far stronger than any human had imagined. But then something strange happened. Far out beyond the orbit of the moon, scanners caught a faint distortion. At first, the operators thought it was a glitch, but the distortion grew, spreading across the blackness like ripples in water. Then, in the blink of an eye, a massive shadow appeared. A ship, huge, silent and cloaked until now, suddenly revealed itself. The ship was unlike anything seen before. It was not human. Its design didn't match the alien invaders either. It was darker, sharper, with edges that seemed to swallow light. Its surface reflected almost nothing, making it look more like a void than a vessel. And yet, it moved with grace, sliding forward, as if space itself bent around it. On Earth's command deck, voices overlapped in panic. "What is that?" One officer shouted. "Another enemy fleet?" asked another, fear cracking his voice. "No, just one ship," said the radar technician, his eyes wide. "But it's enormous." For a long, heavy moment, no one knew what to do. Was this a new threat? Or a miracle? The alien fleets noticed too. Their formations shifted, ships turning, ready to fire on the unknown intruder. They had never seen this vessel before, and for the first time in the war, their discipline broke. Confusion rippled through their ranks. The mysterious ship did not speak. No transmissions, no signals, nothing. Only silence. The humans and the aliens both waited, every second stretching like eternity. Then suddenly, lights flickered across the vessel's hull. Thousands of tiny blue lines glowed, running like veins across its black surface. Its weapons came alive, and in the next instant, it fired. A beam of pure energy cut through the void like lightning. It tore across the alien fleet, slicing a destroyer clean in half. The explosion lit up the battlefield, stunning everyone. Before the aliens could react, the shadow ship fired again. 3 more beams that cut down 3 more ships. Inside Earth's command center, the silence turned into gasps. "It's attacking them," whispered a young officer. "It's helping us," said another, her voice filled with disbelief. But the commanders did not cheer yet. They were cautious. This ship was powerful beyond measure. If it turned on Earth, nothing would stop it. Humanity's entire fleet together was weaker than this single vessel. Trusting it could be fatal. Meanwhile, the alien armada roared into action. Countless cannons lit up, missiles flew, and energy bolts raced across space. All of it targeted the mysterious ship. But the vessel did not move like ordinary ships. It twisted in impossible angles, shifting direction as though the laws of physics were only suggestions. Its shields flared with strange colors, bending attacks away. Weapons that could destroy a city simply vanished against its defenses. In minutes, what had been a losing war turned into chaos. The aliens who had felt certain of victory now faced something they did not understand, something they could not fight. And the humans, though terrified, felt a spark of hope for the first time in months. Whispers filled the command deck. "Who built it? Is it one of ours?" "No. If we had something like this, we'd never be losing." The mysterious ship never answered. It kept fighting, cutting down enemy vessels one by one. Each shot was precise, almost surgical. It was not just fighting, it was hunting. Down on Earth, civilians watched the night sky in terror and awe. From the ground, the battle looked like stars colliding. Streaks of blue and red flashing across the heavens. People pointed, prayed, and cried as they saw alien ships exploding into fire. For so long they had expected the end. Now, something impossible was happening above them. The aliens tried to regroup, but their formations collapsed under the constant strikes. Commanders shouted in their strange tongues, sending desperate orders. But nothing worked. They had never faced this enemy before, and fear began to creep into their hearts. For the first time, the hunters felt hunted. Back in the human fleet, Captain Marcus sat in silence, staring at the shadow vessel through the glass of his battleship's bridge. His crew looked to him for answers, but he had none. All he could say quietly, almost to himself, was, "This war has just changed," and deep in space, the mysterious ship continued its silent assault, revealing no secrets, no reasons, no identity, only destruction for Earth's enemies. And as more alien ships burned, one thought echoed through every human soldier's mind. Whoever they are, they chose to fight for us. The silence after the first shots was short. The mysterious ship had already destroyed 4 alien warships with impossible accuracy. Both human and alien eyes locked on it, stunned by its power. And yet, the vessel did not slow down. Instead, it moved deeper into the enemy's formation like a predator charging into a herd. From the human command station, officers leaned forward, hearts pounding. "Look at it," whispered one. "It moves like it knows every weakness." "It's not random," another added. "Every strike is planned, perfect." The alien fleet, once united and disciplined, now fractured. Cruisers broke formation, trying to protect their capital ships. Fighters swarmed like insects, spitting fire at the intruder. But none of it mattered. The shadow ship spun and shifted, like liquid metal dodging missiles and beams with inhuman precision. Its counterstrikes were merciless. In the span of minutes, an entire squadron vanished, ships turning into flaming wrecks. For the first time since the war began, the humans saw the aliens hesitate. Their advance toward Earth slowed, replaced by confusion and something deeper, fear. Down on Earth's surface, crowds gathered in, cities staring at the skies. The flashes above looked like falling stars, glowing red and white as ships burned. Children clung to their mothers, men clenched their fists. And for the first time in months, people whispered hope. "Someone fights for us," an old man said with tears in his eyes. "Someone strong enough to win." In orbit, Captain Marcus could not take his eyes off the battle. His crew worked frantically around him, tracking every move. "Captain, this isn't luck," his tactical officer said, pointing to the display. "It's choosing priority targets, the biggest threats first, then breaking their defenses piece by piece." Marcus nodded slowly. "Whoever commands that ship, they're a strategist." But the biggest question remained unanswered. Friend or foe? The mysterious vessel fired only on the alien fleet, but its silence was unsettling. No signal, no message, no demand, only destruction. The aliens tried to adapt. They pulled their forces back, creating a wall of ships between the intruder and Earth. They concentrated fire, hundreds of cannons blazing. The black ship was engulfed in explosions, fire and energy swallowing it whole. Human eyes widened in dread. "Is it gone?" someone whispered. Then the fire cleared and the ship emerged untouched. Its shields shimmered faintly, bending space like ripples on water, not even a scratch. And then it struck back, releasing a weapon unlike anything seen before. From the vessel's dark hull, a storm of glowing spheres erupted. They spread like a swarm of stars, each one seeking out a target. Alien ships tried to dodge, but the spheres chased them relentlessly, slamming into hulls and detonating with silent fury. Within seconds, another dozen warships fell. "Dear God," Marcus whispered. "That's not just technology, that's dominance." The human fleet, battered and weary, suddenly saw an opening. Marcus clenched his fist. "All ships, move in! Fight beside it!" Cheers erupted across his bridge. For the first time, the humans weren't running. They were advancing. Human cruisers dove into the fight side by side with the mysterious vessel. Alien firepower split in 2 directions now, and their tight formation collapsed. The battlefield turned into chaos, but this time it was the enemy drowning in it. Still, no one knew who, or what, was inside the shadow ship. Some whispered it was an ancient AI, awakened from deep space. Others believed it was a secret human project, hidden until the last moment. But a few wondered if it was something else entirely. Something not human, not alien, but something older. The alien commanders grew desperate. They released their dreadnoughts, giant ships armed with planet-killer weapons, each one the size of a city, engines glowing like suns. If these reached firing range, Earth would be lost. The mysterious ship did not retreat. Instead, it charged, straight at them. The human fleet gasped. "It's suicide!" One shouted. "No!" Marcus whispered. "It knows what it's doing." The dreadnoughts unleashed their fury, beams thick as rivers slicing through space. But again, the ship moved in impossible ways, bending, twisting, slipping between death itself, then its own. Weapons lit up. A single lance of energy fired, brighter than a star, cutting straight through the dreadnought's shield and piercing its heart. The massive vessel split apart, exploding in silence. Its burning wreckage cast shadows across the battlefield. The humans erupted in cheers, but the aliens screamed in panic, their strongest weapon destroyed in one strike. The other dreadnoughts hesitated, and that hesitation cost them dearly. The shadow ship tore into them with relentless fire, destroying what had once seemed untouchable. In the human command center, a heavy silence filled the air. No one celebrated. Not yet. They watched, transfixed, knowing the truth. Whoever controlled this ship was not just helping. They were winning. And that raised another question, louder than all the cheers. Why? Why was this mysterious vessel fighting for Earth? Was it truly an ally, or was this only the beginning of something even greater, something humans could not yet see? As the last enemy ships broke and scattered, fleeing into the dark, the mysterious vessel slowed, its weapons dimmed, its hull returning to its silent, shadow-like state. It hovered there, motionless, as if watching, waiting. Captain Marcus clenched his fists and whispered to himself, "This isn't over. Not until we know who they are." And for every human soldier, for every civilian watching the sky, one thought burned in their hearts. The war had changed forever. Because of one first strike, the battlefield had gone quiet. At least, quiet. Compared to the chaos that came before, alien wreckage floated in orbit, their flames glowing like dying lanterns against the black of space. The mysterious ship hovered among the ruins, silent again, its weapons dim, as if the storm it unleashed had never happened. On the bridge of Earth's flagship Resolute, Captain Marcus stood in silence. His crew waited for orders, but none came. He stared at the black vessel, unease burning inside him. It had fought. For them, yes, but it had also revealed power far beyond human imagination. "Sir," his first officer asked carefully, "do we move closer or keep our distance?" Marcus did not answer at once. His mind was a storm of questions. Who commanded this ship? Why had they revealed themselves now? What if their attack on the aliens was just a test, a way to measure Earth's weakness before finishing the job? Around him, the crew debated in hushed voices. "It saved us," one said. "We should signal it, thank it. What if it turns on us?" Another argued, "You saw what it did. Our whole fleet together couldn't stop it." Marcus clenched his jaw. His people wanted hope, but hope could be dangerous. If he chose wrong now, Earth might be saved, or doomed. "Open a channel," Marcus ordered finally. His voice was steady, though his hands were tight fists behind his back. "Broadcast on all frequencies." The communications officer nodded, activating the system. A soft chime filled the bridge. "This is Captain Marcus of Earth Defense Command." His voice rang out into the void. "Unknown vessel, you fought beside us, and for that we are grateful. But we need to know who you are. Identify yourself." For a long moment, there was nothing. Only silence. The black vessel drifted slowly, its surface glowing faintly with blue veins, as if it was alive. Marcus's heart pounded louder with every passing second. Then, a voice came, deep and metallic, echoing as though spoken through centuries of distance. "We are not your enemy. Earth must not fall." The crew froze. Some gasped, others stared. In disbelief, Marcus's lips pressed into a thin line. That answer was no answer at all. He leaned forward. "Then tell me why." Why fight for us? But the voice did not answer. Instead, the ship began to move, sliding away from the fleet as if retreating. "Sir," the tactical officer cried. "It's leaving. Do we stop it?" The first officer asked, "Should we fire?" Another whispered. The suggestion cut through the bridge like a blade. Marcus turned sharply. "No," he snapped. "We don't fire on it, not unless it fires first." But even as he spoke, doubt twisted in his chest. If they let it go, they might never learn the truth. If they attacked, they might provoke something far worse than the alien fleet. It was a choice with no right answer. Marcus closed his eyes for a second, remembering Earth below. Families huddled in fear, children looking up at the burning skies. He thought of his own son, waiting in one of the shelters. His duty was clear. Protect humanity no matter what. But how could he protect them from an ally who might turn into a greater enemy? "Captain," the first officer pressed, "if we allow it to leave, we lose the chance to know its intent. And if we attack it, we lose everything." Marcus shot back. His voice was harsher than he intended, but fear hid behind his words. The crew fell silent, all eyes on their commander. This was his burden alone. Outside, the mysterious ship paused as if listening. Its dark hull shimmered faintly, blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. Then a burst of energy spread from it. Not a weapon, but a signal. Human instruments lit up, flooded with strange data, unreadable codes and alien symbols. "What is this?" the science officer whispered, staring at her screen. Marcus narrowed his eyes. "It's giving us something." But before they could study the data, the ship cloaked again. Its massive form vanished into the void, leaving only silence. The humans sat in stunned quiet, staring at empty space. The battle was over, but the questions had just begun. Marcus gripped the railing of his command deck. His decision weighed heavy on his shoulders. He could tell his people that Earth had a new ally, that this mysterious ship had saved them. But what if he was wrong? What if this was only the beginning of a game humans could not win? One thing was certain. The galaxy had changed. On the surface of Earth, people celebrated. They cheered in the streets, believing the battle was a great victory. They raised their voices in hope, not knowing the uncertainty hanging above them. For them, the war had turned. Humanity had been saved. But on the Resolute, Marcus stood alone with his thoughts. He had to decide. Would humanity trust the shadow that fought for them, or prepare to face it if the day came when its weapons no longer protected Earth but destroyed it? The human commander's dilemma had only begun. For days after the battle, Earth's skies were calm. Alien wreckage still orbited the planet, drifting like tombstones of a war not yet finished. Humanity celebrated, but in the halls of command, unease grew stronger. The mysterious ship had vanished as suddenly as it appeared, cloaked once more. In silence, Captain Marcus could not sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that dark vessel tearing through enemy fleets. He heard the metallic voice echoing in his mind. "We are not your enemy. Earth must not fall." But who were we? Reports came in from across the planet. Some swore they saw faint shadows moving across the night sky. Others claimed the ship had appeared over oceans and deserts, only to vanish again. No one could prove it, but the rumors spread quickly. Earth was being watched. In the command center, Marcus gathered his officers. "Study that signal it left us," he ordered. "I don't care how long it takes. Find me answers." Scientists and engineers worked day and night. The data was strange, alien, symbols mixed with human-like patterns. Some parts were impossible to decode, as if meant for minds beyond human understanding. Yet buried deep inside the code, they found coordinates. Marcus stared at the glowing numbers on the screen. His gut tightened. "It's calling us somewhere," he muttered. Against the advice of his superiors, Marcus took a small fleet and followed the trail. They left Earth's orbit quietly, engines burning into the void. The further they traveled, the stranger things became. Their sensors picked up fragments of wreckage, ancient, rusted ships from long-dead civilizations. It was as if the path itself was carved through forgotten history. At last, they reached the coordinates. And there it was, waiting for them. The shadow ship, silent, massive, motionless among the stars. "Open a channel," Marcus ordered. His voice was steady, though his heart pounded. The black vessel responded instantly. A wave of static filled the bridge. Then the metallic voice returned, deeper, clearer this time. "You followed. Good. That means you are ready to listen." The crew exchanged nervous glances. Marcus leaned forward. "Who are you? Why fight for us? Tell us the truth." For the first time, the voice did not avoid the question. Instead, it answered with words that made the crew shiver. "We are the remnant, the last of an old war. Long before your kind walked the stars, we fought the same enemy you face now. We thought we destroyed them. We were wrong." The bridge fell silent. Every officer stared at Marcus, struggling to process the words. "You fought them before?" Marcus asked. "Yes," the voice replied. "And we lost everything. Worlds burned, suns died, billions vanished. We swore that if these creatures rose again, we would not allow another young species to fall as we did. That is why we came. For you." A chill swept across the human fleet. This was no random ally. This was something ancient, something carrying wounds older than Earth's first cities. One officer whispered, "They've been watching us, waiting." Marcus pressed on. "If you've been hiding all this time, why reveal yourselves now?" The voice paused. Then it spoke words that struck every heart on the bridge. "Because you fought when others would have surrendered. You refused to kneel. That is why Earth must live. That is why we fight with you." The crew gasped. Some smiled with pride. Others trembled with fear. Marcus himself felt torn. Part of him wanted to believe, to welcome this ally. But another part whispered that trust came at a price. "Show yourselves," Marcus demanded at last, his voice firm. "If you want our trust, we need more than words. Who are you? What are you?" The black vessel shifted. Its hull glowed brighter, and then, across the bridge screens, a face appeared. Not human, not alien, but something in between. A figure cloaked in shadow, eyes glowing like twin suns. Its features were strange. Sharp, angular, filled with an ancient weight. The crew recoiled. Some gasped. Others stepped back. Marcus held his ground, staring into those glowing eyes. "This is our form," the being said. "Though long ago, we were flesh and blood as you are. We abandoned our bodies to survive the war. Now we are memory. We are machine. We are the remnant." The words echoed like thunder. The revelation was almost too much to bear. These were not humans, nor aliens. They were survivors, turned into something else entirely. A people who had sacrificed everything to continue fighting. Marcus clenched his fists. "If you are with us, then stand beside us, not in the shadows." The being's eyes burned brighter, then softened. "In time, human. For now, know this. We did not save you. You saved yourselves. We only gave you the chance to fight another day." And with that, the image faded. The mysterious ship cloaked once more, disappearing into the void. On the bridge, silence stretched. Marcus breathed heavily. The truth was out, but answers only brought more questions. Could these beings be trusted? Or had humanity just stepped into a war older and darker than anyone imagined? One thing was certain. Earth was no longer alone. And somewhere in the dark, the remnant watched, waiting for the next move. The truth about the mysterious vessel had shaken every corner of Earth's command. The remnant, an ancient people turned into machines, had chosen to fight for humanity. But their reasons, their limits, their future, none of it was fully clear. What mattered now was survival, and survival meant war. The alien Armada had not retreated for long. After their crushing defeat near Earth, they regrouped in the shadows of distant moons, hundreds of ships, repaired and reinforced, prepared for another strike. This time they would not underestimate the humans, or their strange new ally. From the bridge of the Resolute, Captain Marcus watched reports flood in. "They're massing again, sir," his officer, said grimly. "We count 3 times as many as last battle." Marcus's jaw tightened. He had seen enough blood, enough wreckage. But he also knew one truth. If Earth lost here, it lost forever. And then the stars shifted. The shadow ship returned, decloaking silently beside the human fleet. Its black surface shimmered with faint blue veins. Its presence alone sent waves of courage through every soldier. Humanity was no longer standing alone. "Signal the fleet," Marcus ordered. "Prepare for engagement. We fight with them." The enemy came fast, their engines blazing like suns. Alien cannons roared, filling space with fire. The battlefield turned into chaos once more. But this time, humanity was not breaking, not retreating, not hiding. The mysterious ship led the charge, its weapons igniting with blinding fury. It cut through enemy lines like a blade through glass. Each strike dismantled entire formations, and behind it, Earth's cruisers and fighters pressed forward. Emboldened by its power on the ground, people watched the sky again. The flashes of battle were clearer than ever. Citizens huddled in shelters, staring through reinforced glass as stars burned above. Every explosion, every streak of light, carried, meaning for the first time they were not seeing their doom. They were seeing a chance. Inside the alien fleet, panic grew. Commanders barked orders, but no strategy seemed to work. Every maneuver they tried was anticipated, every ambush crushed before it began. The remnant ships seemed to know their tactics before they executed them. "They're reading the enemy," Marcus whispered as he watched. "Like they've fought this war 1,000 times before." And maybe they had, but even with the remnant leading, the fight was brutal, human. Ships still fell, hulls torn apart, screams echoing through broken comms. Marcus clenched his fists every time a vessel went dark. His heart ached, but his resolve did not waver. Humanity would not surrender, not while even one ship still flew. At the height of the battle, the aliens deployed their newest terror. Massive siege platforms unfolded, bristling with weapons designed to pierce planetary shields. Their purpose was clear: break through Earth's defenses and burn the surface. Billions of lives would end in minutes. "Target those platforms," Marcus barked. "Every ship we have, stop them before they fire." But before his fleet could move, the shadow ship surged ahead. Its black hull glowed with burning blue lines. Its engines roared like thunder. Then, it unleashed a weapon never seen before. A ripple of light expanded from its core, spreading like a shockwave across the battlefield. Alien missiles froze mid-flight. Beams of energy bent away. Entire siege platforms went dead, their systems fried by some invisible hand. The battlefield fell silent for a heartbeat, stunned by the impossible. Then the remnant struck, tearing into the disabled platforms, blasting them apart before they could recover. Cheers erupted across human channels. Soldiers shouted in triumph, voices rising with new fire. The tide had turned. For the first time since the war began, humanity was not simply surviving. They were winning. Yet Marcus felt no comfort. His eyes stayed on the shadow vessel. "With power like that," he murmured, "they could destroy us as easily as save us." Still, there was no choice but to trust. At least for now. The battle raged on. But momentum had shifted. The aliens who once hunted Earth now fought only to escape. Their formations shattered, ships breaking and fleeing into the void. The remnant hunted them down, precise and merciless, ensuring they would not regroup a second time. When the last enemy ship exploded in silence, the battlefield fell still. Debris drifted among the stars, glowing embers of a war that might finally be turning. On Earth, people poured into the streets, celebrating, singing, crying. For the first time in living memory, hope spread faster than fear. Families embraced, strangers held hands, and children laughed beneath skies that no longer burned with certain death. But aboard the Resolute, Marcus stood heavy with thought. Victory was theirs, yes, but the questions only grew deeper. Who were the remnant really fighting for? Were humans allies? Or pawns in a war far older than Earth itself? The mysterious ship gave no answers. It cloaked once more, disappearing into the black sea of stars. Marcus exhaled slowly. "We've turned the tide," he whispered. "But the storm is far from over." And deep in the silence of space, the remnant watched, waiting, always waiting. The battlefield was silent, broken only by the drifting wreckage of alien ships. For the first time since the invasion began, Earth stood unbeaten, but victory carried an echo, a whisper that reached even the farthest stars. Something had risen beside humanity, something the galaxy had forgotten. The aliens who survived fled into the dark, their transmissions filled with panic. No longer did they speak of Earth as a doomed world. Now they spoke of the shadow ship, the remnant. Some cursed it as a ghost, others as a weapon from legends. Many simply called it the death vessel. For wherever it appeared, fleets perished inside their fractured command. Alien leaders gathered, their voices trembled with fury and dread. "This is impossible," one growled. "They should not exist," another hissed. "They were destroyed ages ago, every record said so." And yet here the remnant was, not only alive but fighting for the humans. To the invaders, this was worse than defeat. It was horror. The HFY stories told in whispers across empires were true. The ancient enemy, thought to be gone forever, had returned. On Earth, humanity celebrated. Cities lit up with lights, songs echoed through the streets. But in the war rooms, leaders were cautious. They had seen the aliens' fear, and they knew fear made enemies dangerous. The next battle would not be a simple invasion. It would be desperation aboard the Resolute. Captain Marcus stood at the viewing deck staring at the stars. The memory of the remnant's voice still haunted him. He could not forget the glowing eyes on the screen, nor the words that echoed in his mind. "We lost everything once. We will not lose again." "Sir," his first officer said softly, "we've intercepted alien transmissions." Marcus turned sharply. "Play them." The room filled with broken voices, alien commanders shouting. In their strange tongues, some demanded retreat, others demanded full destruction of Earth at any cost. But one thing united them all: terror of the shadow ship. Marcus exhaled slowly. "They're more afraid of it than of us." The officer nodded. "And that makes them dangerous. Fear pushes them to fight harder. They won't stop until they destroy it, or us with it." Across the galaxy, entire fleets were recalled. Empires that had once ignored the war now paid attention. Ancient records were dug out from their archives. Names long forgotten were spoken again. The remnant's history spread like wildfire. Rumors told of a time when the remnant's people had faced the same invaders and nearly destroyed them. They had sacrificed their bodies, becoming machines to continue the fight. But they had vanished, leaving only silence. Now, that silence was broken and the galaxy trembled. The alien Armada returned, greater than before. Millions of tons of war machines darkened the void. Their commanders shouted not of conquest but of survival. "Erase the shadow. Burn the humans." The humans prepared for the storm. The fleet gathered near Earth. Engineers repaired ships day and night. Pilots trained without sleep. And still, fear gnawed at their hearts. They had seen the remnant fight. They had seen its power. But would it return again? Or had it abandoned them after turning the tide? Then, when the first enemy ships appeared on the edge of the system, the answer came. The void shimmered, and the black vessel decloaked. Its blue veins burned brighter than ever. Humanity's cheers filled the comms. Fear turned into steel. Hope turned into fire. The aliens, however, froze. Their sensors screamed warnings. Their memories dragged up nightmares of long-dead battles. Even the bravest among them felt their blood chill. They had come to fight humans, weak and desperate. But standing before them was something else, something they had feared for centuries. "Sir," Marcus whispered on his bridge, "look at them. They're hesitating." For a brief moment, the battlefield was still, two great forces staring at each other across the void. Then the remnant moved, its weapons lit up, slicing through the enemy's vanguard before they could even raise shields. The aliens broke into chaos, their formations shattered. Fear was stronger than discipline. Some fled without firing a shot. Others fired wildly, hitting even their own allies. Their commanders screamed for order, but none came. The fear of the remnant was too deep, too heavy. It drowned their will to fight. The humans pressed forward, emboldened by their enemy's weakness. For once they were not prey. They were the hunters. But Marcus did not smile. He watched as the remnant hunted the fleeing ships, merciless and unrelenting. No surrender was accepted. No survivors allowed. For the remnant, war was not just victory. It was annihilation. And Marcus wondered, was this what had destroyed their own people long ago? Not just the enemy's cruelty, but their own relentless hunger for war? Still, for now, humanity had no choice but to follow. The alien fleet crumbled, their commanders broken. Their fear had turned them into ghosts of soldiers. The war was not yet over, but its balance had shifted forever. When the last alien vessel fled into the darkness, the remnant's voice returned. They will come again, stronger, desperate. But fear is our weapon now. Let it spread. Let it grow. For fear breaks empires faster than fire. The humans sat in silence. Some were inspired, others chilled. Marcus stood with his fists tight, torn between gratitude and dread. Yes, the enemy feared the remnant, but so did he. And as Earth prepared for the next stage of war, one truth echoed in every soldier's mind. The greatest weapon was not guns or ships or shields. It was fear. The war was not finished, but Earth had survived another storm. The alien fleets had been broken again, their commanders fleeing into the void. Their fear of the remnant spread across the galaxy like a plague. Entire empires whispered of the shadow ship that hunted armies and shattered fleets. On Earth, people celebrated as if the war was already won. Cities lit candles, children sang songs, soldiers were hailed as heroes. But inside the war councils, unease grew stronger. Victory had not come from humanity alone. It had come from a vessel they did not understand, a power beyond their control. Captain Marcus stood in the command chamber, surrounded by generals and leaders. Their voices clashed. "We must trust them. They saved us," one shouted. "They're dangerous. If they turn on us, we're finished," another argued. "They gave us a chance," someone whispered, "but why? What do they really want?" The questions hung heavy, and Marcus knew he was the only one who had spoken to them directly. The image of glowing eyes still haunted him. Then the signal came. The remnant was calling. A coded transmission filled the air, coordinates flashing across the screens. "They want us to come," Marcus said, his voice grim. The humans had no choice. A small fleet followed him into the stars, past shattered moons and broken debris. They reached the edge of a dead system, a sun dim and fading. There, in the cold silence, the shadow ship waited, motionless. "Open a channel," Marcus ordered. His throat was tight, but his voice steady. The familiar metallic tone filled the bridge. "You seek answers. Now you will have them." The vessel pulsed with light, and once more the image of the being appeared. Sharp, angular, glowing eyes burning with ancient weight. Marcus stepped forward. "Tell us the truth. What are you really? What do you want with Earth?" The being did not hesitate this time. Its voice was steady, heavy with history. "We are the last of our kind. We fought the same war you fight now. We won battles, but we lost everything. To survive, we gave up our flesh, our homes, even our names. We became machines bound only by memory and war. We are the remnant, and we will not allow the enemy to rise again." The crew fell silent, shivers crawling across their skin. "But why us?" Marcus pressed. "Why Earth? Why humanity?" The being's eyes glowed brighter. "Because you remind us of ourselves. You resist when others surrender. You fight even when hope is gone. And because long ago, before our fall, we met your kind." Marcus froze. "Met us? That's impossible. Humanity was not in the stars until now." The being's voice rumbled like thunder. "Not in the stars, no. But on your world long ago. We came, wounded and broken, seeking refuge. And humans, your ancestors, gave it. They hid us, healed us when no other species dared. We never forgot. Now we return the debt." Gasps filled the bridge. Marcus's chest tightened. If it was true, Then humanity had unknowingly shaped a bond with something ancient, something beyond galaxies. But the revelation was not finished. Yet, "Know this, human," the remnant said, its voice darkening. "We do not fight for you alone, we fight for the war itself. The enemy must be erased no matter the cost. If you stand in the way, if you falter, we will burn you as well. This is the truth." The crew stiffened, fear crawling across their faces. The remnant was no simple ally. It was a force bound by a vow of eternal war, friend only so long as humanity fought the same enemy. Marcus's fists tightened, his voice cut the silence. "Then understand this. We will fight, but not like you. We fight to live, not just to destroy. If you stand with us, then you fight our way, not the other way around." For a long, tense moment, the glowing eyes stared at him. Then, slowly, the light dimmed, and the voice softened. "Perhaps that is why you may succeed where we failed." The transmission ended, the black vessel turned, its engines flaring. For the last time, its metallic voice echoed across the stars. "Remember, human. The war is not over. We will be watching. We will return when you need us, or when the time comes to test if you are worthy." And with that, the shadow ship cloaked once more, vanishing into the endless dark. On the bridge of the Resolute, silence filled the air. Marcus exhaled slowly. The answers had come, but with them, a weight heavier than ever before. Humanity was no longer alone, but neither was it safe. The remnant had chosen them, but their choice came with a warning. Back on Earth, people celebrated victory. Children laughed under the stars, unaware of the shadow that had passed judgment on their species. Captain Marcus stood at the viewport, watching the stars. He whispered to himself, "They returned the favor once, but will we one day pay the price?" And far away, unseen, the remnant drifted through the dark, silent, eternal, waiting for the next war. The final revelation had been given. Earth had not been saved by chance. It had been chosen.